Hi, it's Leandra from the Lexington facility at New Vocations Racehorse Adoption Program. And I apologize first and foremost for the wind, so I'll be screaming at you from here just so you can try to hear me while we figure out all the technologic issues. Not our forte. But today we have Cumberland Pass, who's being worked here. This is actually just showing you part of the first week of working. So she's had about a week just to adjust to being here and getting used to the schedule, getting used to her friends and turnout, and so the social and just the atmospheric adjusting is well on its way. So at this point we start working them on the ground and we can get to know their personalities both in the cross-size grooming, and then once we put them into work we can see what their movement's like, what their focus is like, and any of the quirks that start to reveal themselves along the way. So Cumberland Pass here is a mare. She's a 2017 horse. She's 3 years old now. She only had 2 starts on the track and she retired sound with no known injuries. She just wasn't very competitive. So, I mean, you really couldn't ask for a better situation for them to come to us where we're not having to go through the rehab side of things. So generally for a horse like her, it's a fairly easy process of just getting them back to working and teaching them how to bridge the gap between what they know for cues and their job as a racehorse, and then translating that to giving them the tools they need for their toolbox to help them be successful in a career off the track. So you can see Dom is working with Cumberland Pass, who we call Cumby or Cumby Bumby, or any combination of words that could sound like that. She is being worked by Dom in a circle on a lunge line, and you can see, we can tell right away she has a lot of muscle developing on the underside of her neck. So she's having those moments where even without a bit in her mouth, just with contact, and she's in a rope halter, so when she feels pressure from the rope, which is the lunge line, then she'll feel the pressure. There are 2 little knots on the top of the nose piece, and so those will apply a slight pressure, and we can see how she responds to just pressure with no bit. And we can see that'll be something that we will probably continue to need to work with her on, but Dom's doing a really good job of just engaging her hind end and just moving her forward into that contact and seeing what her response is like. So then also while we're looking at her, we can see how her soundness is. So she retired without any known injuries, but say that she needed an adjustment coming off the trailer, we could see that pretty easily here in her hip movement, and we can just work on assessing the horse in a really preliminary way right from the get-go. Awesome. And we're lucky to have her also come to us having already had downtime from being on the track. So her last race was in January, and between January and when she came into our program, which was just a week and a little bit ago, she just had time at a local farm just to have downtime before she started working again in our program. So she's already had a little bit of a letdown, as like people like to call it, which is just time to relax and be a horse and learn about things like turnout. So she had a little bit of a head start, and so we're hoping that she is able to jump right into our program, which so far she seems she has been able to really nicely. So we'll continue to develop her, and we just wanted to give you guys the opportunity to see her in a little bit of a sneak peek, to see horses who are coming up in the streamline of trainees here at Lexington. I don't think we've officially sticked her yet. We did? We did officially stick her. Allie's gonna,
yeah.
She has all the info.
Let me see. He's 15-1.
So Cumberland Pass stands at a whopping 15-1. She's more of a petite lady. And she has a really nice, easygoing personality in the barn. Allie, do you want to add anything about her personality in the barn?
She's really sweet. You honestly you don't forget she's there, but in terms of going out with all the mares, she's the one that you don't really have to worry about acting up when you're taking her in and out. She's really happy to just go along with all the other mares. So she's been really easy on the ground so far.
Awesome. So, she's smaller build, and so sometimes, every once in a while we just have somebody who's a little bit shorter and likes to be able to wrap their legs around the horse. but also being a little bit smaller, one of the things we're always sort of keeping in the back of our minds is suitability for potential future jobs. So smaller horses, oftentimes people are asking about for younger riders, and in general, we don't recommend our horses for a young rider since she's only 3 years old. She does have a really easy disposition, so maybe she would be a candidate for a rider who was still maybe a teenager with a trainer or something. So there is potential there with her easygoing disposition. Obviously, we'll want to see how she is under saddle so that we can make a better assessment of that, but she does kind of stand out as maybe a horse who could have prospect for that. We don't like to make total blanket statements and say it never happens that she could be more suitable for a rider who is on the younger end of the spectrum, but of course that comes with different stipulations of them having experience and working with older experienced trainers and whatnot. But also with some of the smaller horses, and maybe not with her exact build, but smaller horses tend to be great prospects for polo, especially mares. Polo players tend to look for mares because of the little bit of spunk and responsiveness, and so when we have a horse who's a little bit smaller, then that's something that we think of in the back of our minds and keep in mind as they work through the process. So that's a little bit of a taste of Cumberland Pass. We hope to show you more in the future. This is just a little bit of a preview of things to come. So again, this is Cumberland Pass. She is a mare, 2017 yeared mare, so she's 3 years old, and she's just starting in training with us, and we'll continue to work with her and show you some of the progress along the way, hopefully. But thank you so much for joining us on this meet and greet today. Please tune back in at 1 o'clock Eastern time. We'll have a virtual tour that's going to be hosted by Andrea Mandela, and she'll go through some different aspects of the barn that you might not have heard before, even if you've watched our virtual tours before. So this will definitely give you a little bit of a different spice. So please tune back in for that. Tune back in tomorrow at noon Eastern time. We'll have more adoptable or soon to be adoptable horses for you to meet, and check out our website, horseadoption.com. You can see how you can help us in our mission. You can see the horses who are currently available and see our whole adoption process. So check those out, tune back in a little bit later, and we'll see you a little bit later. Thanks for joining.